Okay, so this morning I'm going to take apart a Samsung Galaxy S. You can see that the screen is smashed on it. There's a line all the way across it here, runs all the way up there. You might be able to see it a bit better there. You see this bottom half of the screen is completely missing here, and then there's lines up and down the screen here. That's quite evident that the LCD panel underneath has been smashed. The customer dropped it after owning it for just a week, so really quite bad. I mean, there you go. You can't see that at all at the moment. So let's get it switched off. Okay. Get on with fixing it. It's not going to be very exciting to listen to, I'm afraid, because I'm not good at doing that sort of talking while working thing. But I'll have a go, do the best I can. We want a tiny little screwdriver, a tiny one. Something like this here should do the trick. I was going to say, it is important to note that you've got the world's tiniest little screwdriver. If you haven't got the correct tools, there's just no point doing a job, you know. You don't want to do a job badly, do you? e-swoosh Limited, of course, can repair phones, games consoles, PCs, laptops, servers, printers, cameras, gadgets, MP3 players, hair dryers, hair straighteners, anything you need fixing, really, electrical. Based in Banbury in Oxfordshire, probably can tell from the accent. We don't do all the work on a little desk like this. It's normally in a nice workshop. Perhaps there'll be pictures on the Facebook wall of that soon. Coincidentally, you can get to our Facebook page at facebook.com/e-swoosh. That's E-S-W-O-O-S-H. Don't think you'll find cheaper rates in Oxfordshire, to be honest. If you do, we'll match it. Okay, so we're just getting the screws out of the casing. It's a pretty well built phone, I have to say. I've not had one of these apart before, so that's why I was filming it. See how long it takes. I'm going to go ahead and get these screws out, and then we'll film the next bit. Okay, so we've got the screws out of the casing. Next thing is check if there's a SIM card or a micro SD card in here, because if there is, it's not going to make it. There is. So let's get that out of there. Don't want it to get broken, especially if the customer's got a lot of data on there. You know, it's just not worth risking it. So take that out. The next thing will be to try and separate the casing, as with any electrical item. It's always important, if you're trying to take something apart, to try and note where the casing meets, and usually it's down a side. I mean, it is on this one, so I'll go ahead and get a plastic safe removal tool, and I'll just get it in the gap, and I'll just run it round, see if we can get inside it. Around it, and I've popped the casing, as it were, and that just pops off of there, nicely like that. Put that on our little pile of bits. So here you can see the inside the mobile phone. There's not much to see really. There's a camera up here, headphone jacks, USB jacks, things like that. Usually once you get the casing off, there'll be some more screws underneath to get the rest of the handset apart. Although this model actually doesn't appear to have any at all. There's a few ribbon connectors to pop off, as ever. That's one, that's probably for the screen. Not exactly sure which one is this for. Could be for the power connector. Actually, that pops out, that might be a good idea. With anything like a phone or a gadget, you just got to take your time and be slow when we're fixing these things. You don't want to rush it and then, you know, end up with a expensive paperweight, as it's sometimes called. I'm going to go ahead and try and separate this, and then I'll do another video again. Obviously it's quite stressful while it's being filmed. It was actually nowhere near as difficult as I thought it would be. There are two tabs here on the side, and I just popped them down, and then I think the board will slide off like that. So that's your control board for a Samsung Galaxy. I say a Galaxy, it's a GT-S5570, if that means anything to you. So we'll pop that down there safely, and that leaves us with a touch panel here, which is sometimes called a touchscreen digitizer, and then on the back of it you can see the LCD panel. So I'm going to go ahead and see how this is attached now. Okay, again, nowhere near as difficult as I thought it would be. So here's the phone, just got it in the edge of the screen here. Always pry from the edge of these screens because they tend to be a bit fragile, as you can imagine. This one's broken anyway, but I'm quite a perfectionist when it comes to repairs, so just be gentle when you're pulling it up in case you're trapping anything that you're not aware of. And you don't want to smash this glass touchscreen. There it goes with a little ping. So that's our broken panel off and ready to be replaced. In the next video I'll do the replacement. Let's give it a go. Okay, so I've got the replacement panel here. Put that down there. It's always a good idea to check that you've got the right panel before you do the repair, but because I've never repaired one of these I wasn't sure if the new panel was right until we got to this stage. While it's still all in its wrapping, I'll just have a quick check, and as you can see it's got the same connectors and everything, so we'll go ahead and break the seal and get it out. If you break the seal before you move it apart, most suppliers, you know, they can be a bit touchy-feely about it. They can you know, refuse a refund quite happily if they want. It's just political red tape really, isn't it? Obviously the supplier's going to try and make as much money as they possibly can out of you, so just got to play hardball sometimes. Okay, so this screen's obviously got a protector on it, that if you can see that little tab there. Obviously don't forget to remove that before you fit the screen in this case, because the screen's going to be going directly down into the glass touch screen digitizer. That's a mouthful. Put this one over here, no, well out of the way, because you don't want to end up refitting the old one, because that's terrible. I've done that before. You get it all back together and realise you've refitted your old screen. It's the iPhone going off. Okay. Also, don't get it in the wrong way. You know, it is possible to get it upside down. There is some adhesive in here, which there is some adhesive in here, thankfully, which has stayed put, which is brilliant. Because reapplying adhesive inside a phone can be a real pain. You know, I've had some nightmares with some iPhones before, especially when they've been dropped. You know, they tend to warp a little bit. Hopefully this one's going to be alright. I think it only took a light knock on the corner, which is all it takes to smash on a screen on a phone these days. You just drop it on a corner and the whole screen will go, you know, smash all the way up. But, right, I'll go ahead and get this plugged back in, and then I'll do a next video, so save a bit of time. Okay, so I've just got this little ribbon cable pushed back in here, and we're ready to put the control board back in. Putting the control board back in is usually fiddly, you know, when you've got these little side buttons that you use for volume and things like that. You want to make sure they don't get trapped on anything. There's quite a lot of, a colleague of mine used to call them gotchas, you know, gotchas as in Noel's House Party style. You want to watch out for everything when you're putting stuff back. If you trap the tiniest little cable, it's game over and this is scrap. So just take your time again, line everything up. If it feels like you're having to force it, it's probably not right. Just go ahead and line everything up first before you make the deal, before you sign the deal, as it were. Seal the deal. Right. As it goes, this phone handset is very nice, very nicely constructed. That went back together very well, as you've just seen. So I'll go ahead and fold this ribbon over here, which is the ribbon cable for the screen. And it just pushes in. You've got to be careful not to damage it. There you go. It just makes a nice little click noise, sort of quite reassuring actually when these things make those kind of noises. Just goes to show that you've not broken anything, and it just sits nicely. If you don't hear the little click, it almost definitely hasn't gone in properly, and when you put it back together you're going to be very disappointed. So next thing's next. We want to put the back on. Again, Just take your time. Nothing worse than getting it back together and having to get it apart again. It's quite demoralising, as you can imagine. Just take your time. It actually locates nicely over the headphone jack on the end here, and then pushes back together, he says. It's a bit of a fiddle, as you can imagine. Doesn't happen very often, but occasionally you're going to get these things go wrong, and it's just being prepared for putting your mistakes right, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and get this back on there, clicked in. Don't know if you heard that. So that's the casing all nicely back together. Sorry, this isn't a very exciting video, is it? Exactly how it was before you even switch it on, because if you get problems with it, then oh, it's not even clicked in, is it? Okay, easiest bit, and I got stuck. Right, before I put the casing screws back in, I'll always put the battery in and give it a quick test, because you never know what's going to happen. So you're going to see straight away, like I am, that's brave, isn't it, what's happened. And can you see that? That's all nicely working again. Indicated down here by saying Samsung in big writing. This webcam is terrible. I need to invest in a new one. But that's the 3 network Samsung, as if you didn't already know. And I'll go ahead and show you desktop there. It is there, trust me. It's not very good colour on this webcam again, but good, all fixed. So I'll go ahead and put the screws back in, case it up, give it a good old polish off, clean it all up, and package it up for the customer, and they can come collect it. Alright, thanks for watching. If you want to see more, go to www.e-swoosh.co.uk. Thanks very much.